There's maybe not much to see except yourself.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, you're okay with that?
We'll say.
Oh, you want to see what the questions are?
Yeah. What, you have
It's gonna.
questions?
Well, we're gonna see what happens. Nobody watching yet. We'll see.
Oh, someone joined.
Yep.
Oh, you got a few.
There'll be a few. There'll be a few more.
That's great.
We had 28,000 people yesterday,
Oh, wow.
and then we had 48,000 the day before.
Wow, were you here?
No, we were at a different campus. We were at Story Arts yesterday. We were at Morningside the day before.
Oh, Morningside.
Yeah. Good morning. What's going on? You don't have to walk away. You can keep talking. It's all right. We're just introducing some people. We're getting people onto the live. We're going to do this for about an hour.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, then I guess you have to go to class. Good morning, everybody. Joining up and dropping in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Seeing all the hellos and good mornings. Hey, it's FriYay. It's FriYay, and we are at the Downsview campus of Centennial College. We've been doing Centennial College visits every single day. Wait, I got to fix my poppy. Yeah, we've been doing visits every day at a different location. This is our final visit. I mean, we'll come back again, but it's the final visit this week because it's FriYay, which means tomorrow I'm not coming to work. I'm going to sleep in. Well, I have kids. I'm not really sleeping in. If you've got questions, we've got answers. We'll be answering your traffic and police questions for an hour. Feel free to use the Q&A function. We're only on TikTok today. No YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, none of that. You guys are special, so we're just here for you. It's hard to go mobile and broadcast everywhere, but I'm here with CJ and everybody in the common area of this school who's dropping by to see what's going on. And if you've got questions, drop them in the Q&A. We're going to be answering them. I'll pick questions. And Corey wants to ask me a political question. I'm not really a political kind of guy, but you can ask a question and we'll see what happens. I'm really the traffic cop, not the political non-traffic guy thing. Stephen says welcome back. Thanks, Stephen. It's good to be back. How long do I have to pay 407 bills? Well, if you don't pay them, I think they suspend your license or your plates. So sooner is probably better than later when it comes to paying those. I actually don't know what their policies are. Can I tune horsepower or install turbo? Sure you can. You just have to make sure you're meeting the Environmental Protection Act requirements for your exhaust, and obviously you need to limit the noise you're making. But that's a different story. But in terms of having a high horsepower engine or a turbo installed, nothing illegal about that. Again, as long as it conforms to what's required. It's getting busy in here. Hey. See everybody going up the stairs. Talking away. We're going to be answering questions on TikTok for an hour. Yeah. Okay, it's live right now. Traffic services. How is? Crystal wants to know. My day's doing really well. I'm just here at Centennial College, Downsview. Let's see what kind of questions we have. There's tons. Can I drive to the U.S. with my Canadian car? That's always a big question. Can you? Who's your stepdad? Yes, I am. Buddy's with your stepdad. That's very funny. Can I drive to the U.S. with my Canadian car? Sure you can. As long as you're licensed and insured, you got a proper driver's license, insurance, you can do that. Someone wants to know if they can continue. Do you think they want to know if they have to pay their 407 bill? What do you think? All right. So yeah, I don't know how it works for contesting it. That's a private company. You need to talk to them. Lots of folks in the background. This is the first campus that everyone wants to be on camera. But Trist says, "How is your morning, your day?" It's going great. We're just going live, talking to you, so it makes it all the better. Are air intakes illegal? Not that I'm aware of. There's no cold air intake, as long as you don't take a headlight out, because you need to have two headlights. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Nothing that I'm aware of. Is it illegal to drive at night without your light? Yeah, you need to have a minimum of two headlights. Two headlights to be legal. Otherwise, it's improper headlights and you're going to get a ticket. $110. That's me. I just got recognized for coming onto the Jerry Agar show. By voice. You know what? That's impressive. I'm the guy from TikTok. I'm on TikTok right now. Okay. Hi from Canada. I'm in Canada too, so hi back. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. I, of course, go live on social media to answer your traffic and police questions. I'm currently standing in the lobby at Centennial College in the at specifically the Downsview campus. This is a former military base. Actually, there's still some active military base stuff going on here. They've got an airport. They're testing. And what you may or may not see behind me, you don't see it, behind me is a hangar that has a number of aircraft inside. I wonder if are any of these capable of flying? The ones outside are still capable of flying? Yeah? There's some really cool stuff. They got a couple of helicopters. I want to go play out there. I don't know if they're going to let me. I'm going to see if I can take some photos inside of helicopters and airplanes. Let's see here. Does Ontario have a no chase law? No. I don't know why everybody's so interested in trying to figure out how to run away from the police. You know what the best advice is? Don't break the law. No one's going to want to chase you. But no, there's no specific thing that precludes us from chasing you. If you're breaking the law, if there's a reason that chasing you outweighs public safety of not chasing you, then expect to be chased, arrested, and charged accordingly. Can I drive to the U.S. with a G2 license? Hey, good morning. How you doing? People waving, people happy. The answer is yes, you can. A G2 is a probationary license, but it does allow you to drive into the United States or any province. Okay. Can I go under the speed limit if on the highway if it's foggy? I sure hope so, because I did all the way to work this morning. When you can't see, you are not expected to do the speed limit. You have to slow down so you drive to the appropriate ability to see. You can't drive faster than you can see, because if something changes in front of you, you'll have no time to react. So traveling 40 kilometers an hour, if the visibility is such that that's as fast as you believe you can go reasonably, then that's as fast as you go. And, generally say lower in rain, fog, or snow, slow down at least 10 kilometers an hour under the speed limit, but that might be a lot less if the conditions are worse. There's no standard answer. The charge of unnecessary slow driving says that without reason that you're driving under the speed limit unnecessarily. Everyone wants to know about, do I chase dirt bikes? Do we chase? Don't break the law. We won't chase you. But yeah, we can chase you. Are aftermarket exhausts legal? Yeah, they could be, as long as they conform to the requirements under the law. Just because they're aftermarket doesn't make them illegal. Can we pull over a policeman when he's wrong? Why has it got to be a guy that's wrong? What do you got to go there for? What is it that you think you're going to pull a police officer for? Because police are allowed to exceed the speed limit. They're allowed to use their cell phones, their police radios, their computers. What law are you going to pull them over for? They're allowed to violate bylaw in the lawful performance of their duties. So what do you want to do? What do you want to pull them over for? And good luck pulling over a police officer. Awesome. Why aren't you watching right now? We're live right now.
We have class, man.
Oh, class. I guess you got an excuse.
Too short.
Finally got the right location where everyone's walking by. It's me. I'm the TikTok guy on TikTok right now. One of the number one things people say is that I look a lot taller in person, because I'm, on your For You page, I look about that big.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all optical illusion. I'm really not that tall. Sure.
That's sick. Nice to meet you, man.
If you post it, tag me on it. You got to tag. Got to get a tag. All right. Too funny. Hello from York Regional Police. Hello, York Regional Police. I was just talking about you this morning. I love the video for your vehicle stop for the right turn. That was comical. And we got to see. We got to do more of that. We have to do a collab, is what we have to do. So we'll have to talk soon. I'm glad that you're on the platform, though. Is it illegal to have a massive spoiler on my car? Other than the fact that it looks really silly, and maybe just based on yuck, it should be illegal. But it depends. You may be actually doing things to make your vehicle unsafe and not realize it. If you have a front-wheel drive vehicle, put a massive spoiler on the back and then reduce the amount of traction and contact you have with the road, making yourself possibly unsafe. There's a lot of factors, and just saying massive isn't something that I can, say yes or no to. Because you might think that is massive. I don't know. What's your favorite song? I don't know. I used to DJ. I like all sorts of music, and I don't know if I have a favorite anything. Is it true that police get out of speeding tickets? Police, while in the lawful execution of their duties, are allowed to exceed the speed limit. So there's no speeding ticket there. It's lawfully exceeding the speed limit. At what What is the exhaust decibel limit? According to my mechanic friend, 74 decibels is what you are permitted to be at idle. But the truth is, in Ontario, the unnecessary noise law says that anything unnecessary could result in a ticket. Now, that could be honking your horn, playing your stereo too loud, creating unnecessary noise by revving your engine. Hi there. We got a question, a live question, so you guys have to wait a second. What's up? You can ask it in person. You bump the line. This is smart. See, if you're at Centennial College, you just walk to the front of the line. You don't have to wait in line for that. What's up? Yes. So the question is, if you have a G2, could you drive on the highway with a G2? So yes, once you a G1, you're not allowed to be on a highway without a driving instructor, an actually licensed professional driving instructor. Once you get your G2, you have all the rights and privileges of a G, except you have conditions. And those conditions are to have a 0 BAC, 0 blood alcohol content, and that you cannot have passengers under the age of 20, or at least more than one between the hours of 12 and 5 in the first 6 months of having it. Did I make a mistake with that? Hold on a sec. What? G2 driving license. I might be mixing two things up. You see, I say so much stuff so quickly that I get on. So it's 0 BAC, and then the other condition is passengers under the age of 19. I think it's the first 6 months you can have no more than one, unless they're immediate family. And after the second 6 months, you have no more than 3. Does that sound right? TikTok, does that sound right? I think that sounds right. But yes, you can drive on for G2. Full G? Full G is until you're 22 or older, you can have it's 0 BAC because you're a novice driver. I don't drink either. It's too expensive. No, I'm kidding. You don't drink and drive. Well, that's good. That's a big thing. No impaired driving. Impaired driving bad. Yeah. So for conditions for G, I think it's just the BAC. Any other? I keep mixing this up. So you know what? This is the joy of having two telephones. I'm going to double check something because the problem is you know something, you say something, you question yourself, you look it up to confirm that you're saying the right thing. Okay. You got to go to class? Oh, don't miss out. Sure, you want a selfie? Let's do a selfie. It's a selfie break. Is that a filter on that? I look like I have great skin. We're doing different filters. But you got to post it on Instagram and tag us. Traffic Services, Toronto. So back to what the exhaust limit is. 92 decibels is the bylaw for motorcycles in the city of Toronto. If you're at idle at 92 or over 92 decibels, you get a ticket. It's actually $500 in Toronto. But that's going to change different depending on where you are. We're going through all these. What is that? Is that Snapchat? Yeah. I don't actually. All my pictures on Snapchat. You take them on Snapchat because you need the filters. I get it. Okay. What is your most interesting police story? Probably standing in Centennial College taking selfies at the. That's probably what. I don't know what my most interesting. There's a lot of them. I don't know. What's your favorite food? Not donuts. What do we have here? I hit the wrong button. What is the requirement for being a police officer in Canada? It depends. Every province is going to be different. Did you find it? No, for full G and G2. So it was G2. I'm standing over here with CJ for 1 second. You can still hear me, but I'm reading. So, okay. In addition, it's the G2. Yeah, drivers age 19 or under. First 6 months. Okay, I was right. First 6 months, it's 1, and it's up to 3. Cherries? Yeah, cherries. Okay, I'm wearing makeup now, and you're thinking, what is this? This is not okay. These filters are not okay. I don't understand why I have cherries on my cheeks. Okay. What are the requirements? Okay, back to requirements. Take care. Have a great class. We'll be here till noon. Why do I have a commercial playing on my other phone? How do I stop this? Stop. Okay, here we go. No, that's another ad. Okay, here we go. So, requirements for police officer in Ontario, you're going to be 18 years old, full G driver's license. You're going to be, obviously, no criminal history, although minor things from childhood, they may be overlooked case-by-case basis. Vision requirements of 20/40 uncorrected binocular vision. And then there's physical, academic, and mental health things, as well as doctor sign-off. But you know what? Go to tps.ca/careers for more information about being hired as a candidate for the Toronto Police Service. We are actively pursuing applicants. We need more police. We also need parking enforcement, special constables, all sorts of jobs within the service. And we have so many things that are civilian roles, and they're awesome. Ooh, I really want to go in that classroom. There's people walking around in the class with the planes. Maybe I'll do that later. Is it a requirement to like donuts? I don't dislike donuts. I think anyone who says they don't like donuts is lying. Trying to look here if there's anybody I can quiz about donuts. No, I think everyone's gone to class that I would bug about donuts. But I prefer chicken wings over donuts, but I won't turn away a donut, especially if it's raspberry filled. That would be my favorite. All right. How did you become a police officer? I applied, and so can you. tps.ca/careers. See, that segue. It's so perfect into what I want to talk about. Do you have to have a degree or college education? You don't have to, but it's helpful. It is a competitive process. You are competing against other people who want your job. The better applicant you can be, the better the applicant you can be by having more languages, more volunteer, more education, just make you more competitive. But you have to know grade 12 is the minimum education requirement. Ye says I'm wanted on your MDT. The fact that you know what it's that we used to use the terminology of MDT, mobile data terminal. Let me move this over here. I want to get further away from the desk. What do we see behind us? Does TPS get paid per hour per day? See, there's an airplane behind me. No, turn it this way. Airplane. See, cool. Over the shoulder airplane. So we don't get paid per hour per day. We're paid salary, but it is broken down to per hour. If you have to work overtime, you will be paid and compensated for the overtime. So it's annual salary based on or broken down into an hourly wage. So that because we work so much over what we normally work, it has to be known. Is the TTC supervisor and Toronto Police the same? No, Toronto TTC supervisor is a Toronto Transit Commission. They deal with buses and streetcars and subway trains. What is this? First time? Oh, is first time pulled over always a warning? No, that definitely not. A warning is an option. It's utilizing the discretion of an officer. It's got nothing to do with have tos. I will issue you a ticket if you're doing something dumb behind the wheel of a car, putting lives at risk, because that's exactly what people are doing when they choose to speed or behave in a way that is, putting people in harm's way. We know that speeding, distracted driving, aggressive driving, and impaired driving lead to serious injury and death on our roads. So if you're doing that, expect a ticket. Don't expect anything less. Heck, depending on what you're doing, expect a suspension. Because if you're stunt driving, we're taking your car for 14 days. We're suspending your license for 30. And I want to tell you something that just came to mind because we started talking about stunt driving, and then I said, oh my goodness, I have not discussed Vision Zero enforcement team yet. And I want to tell you where they are today. Vision Zero enforcement team is a dedicated enforcement team in the city of Toronto. All they do is go out and change driver behavior one ticket at a time. They don't give it any hugs. It is all about enforcement and changing that behavior. So where are they today? They are in 31 Division and 55 Division. Those are the communities of Black Creek, Humbermead, Glenfield, Downsview. We're in Downsview. The beaches, Riverdale, Danforth, and East York. Those are neighborhoods where real people live, and they want and deserve to be safe on the roads. So if you're traveling through those and you're choosing to break the law today, expect to get a ticket. And no warnings, no hugs, nothing like that. What's over here? They're just small planes, but they're cool. They're cool. I love things that fly. Actually, any kind of motor vehicle or conveyance. There's always been it's a cool factor. Am I able to apply for police on permanent resident? Yes. In Ontario, you need only be a permanent resident. You don't have to be a Canadian citizen, but it is one of the options. Mud Mafia says, oink. I guess they're a pig. If they're saying oink, that's the noise they're making, so I don't understand why they're doing that. Maybe he's trying to be offensive to me. He's trying to say that I'm a pig. I'm a police officer. I also am not easily swayed by people trying to be offensive, but I don't like that you're being disruptive to other people. That's not kind. So please don't spam with crap. Doesn't change my day, but it may interfere with somebody else's. Hey, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. If you've got questions, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to answer your questions. We're going to be here, till about 12 o'clock. So we'll keep going until it's no longer interesting. If you don't already follow us, please do. We do this Monday to Friday from 10 to 11 normally, but we're on the road today. We're doing the Centennial College thing. We're at Downsview campus, and we are talking about stuff and things. Okay. Are you a media police officer, or do you patrol still? I think I said that right. I am a media officer. I am a social media and media relations officer. I am not on the road, but that's because I was injured in a motorcycle collision on duty, and I don't go on patrol. But I hope to one day return to the road, at very least to help out and do things, because I miss it. It's a lot of fun. That said, I'm an office guy, and I'm here on social media Monday to Friday. Is it illegal to drive with my right hand in a cast? if you can operate your vehicle safely with the cast, there's nothing in law that says you must have two hands. There are folks who don't have two arms who drive. So it's not a requirement. Unless your doctor says it's unsafe for you to do it and gives you a medical suspension, that would preclude you from driving. How much does military service help when applying? I'm not a recruiter. I talk about recruiting stuff all the time, but I'm not actually a recruiter, so I don't know. My understanding, based on the many people that are military or former military that work with me, I would say that it's a good thing, but I don't know how that works. So certainly make that very well known, because there might be people who specialize in hiring people that are, post-military deployment. What do we got here? Is working for the town a good resume boost for police officer? You know what? Any kind of continuous employment and commitment to public good things like volunteering will help you. They're all good. Continuous employment, volunteerism, those are things that are good. When do I normally sleep and wake up? If you follow me, you'll know that I go to sleep late and I wake up early. I wake up around 4 o'clock, 4:30. And when do I normally go to sleep? I usually go to sleep around 10 or 11. I should go to sleep around 8 or 9, but I tend to not, because I've got stuff to do. I got to answer your questions on TikTok. Were you a motorcycle PO? Yes, I was a motor squad officer. I was a member of the motor squad full-time for quite a number of years, until I was actually hit on a police motorcycle, which took me off the road. And that's how I ended up being here in front of you. So it all worked out in a good way. This has been a fantastic way for me to contribute to my community, to my city, to my police service, and keeping the roads safe in general. I'm really happy about the way it's turned out. I would have preferred to have not been injured, because flying off of a motorcycle as a result of a collision kind of sucks. How's it going? Let's see here. Can dealer plates be attached to a vehicle? There's rules and regulations requiring the use of their plates, but can they be affixed permanently? I don't see why not. The bag on the back is actually not the right way to do it as far as I'm concerned. So screwing it to the back to ensure that it's properly displayed, not obscured, and secure, I think is better. But that vehicle must be in the pool available for sale. You can't just permanently install it and make it a daily driver. It has to be available for sale. Is there a grace speed limit to avoid a ticket? Yeah, it's called not speeding. The speed limit. You have to be below it or at it, but not over it. I'm always shocked at people asking about how much can I go over the speed limit. The fact is, even 1 kilometer an hour over is a breaking of the law. It's the same thing whether you do 1 or 100 over. The number of kilometers over is what's going to determine the amount of money you pay as a fine. Actually, once you go over 40 in some areas, 50 in others, or over 150 kilometers an hour anywhere, then you're stunt driving. Then you get an additional charge of stunt driving. You lose your license for 30 days, and you lose your vehicle for 14. And that's before you get convicted. Because once you get convicted, you're looking at a further suspension of 1 to 3 years, a fine of $2,000 to $10,000, and up to 6 months in jail. What is this? Is it bad to learn to drive at 15 with your parents? On private property, is it good? No, I don't think it is. I think you should wait. At 15, I was taking my young drivers of education courses in class. So the day I turned 16, I was getting my 365 back then. There was no M1 or G1. But I was driving the day I turned 16 legally. So if you're on private property learning how to drive, or you're going go-karting to learn how to drive, power to you. But you can't get charged on private property unless you're stunt driving, of course. But is it a good idea? You're not insured at 15. So, yeah, not exactly a good idea. Why is everyone interested in chase laws on motorcycles? Don't break the law. If you break the law, pull over and be a grown-up and take your licks, because if you run, it's criminal, and then we arrest you. And oddly enough, we actually tend to catch people. But I don't know why people think it's a great idea to run. Silly, silly people. Can I drive without shoes? I grew up thinking you could not, but in fact you can drive without shoes. It's not something we endorse or suggest or promote, but it's not illegal, even though I grew up thinking it was. You can also drive with the interior light on, something else that I thought was illegal. That isn't illegal. What's this? Okay, what if an officer makes a location error on the ticket? Well, that depends. Is it a fatal flaw in court? I'll tell you that it's probably not, and it's up to the judge. You could always make the application saying that it was wrong, and then they will hear evidence as to why it was written down the way it is. And as long as in the evidence it was in there somewhere, chances are you're still getting convicted. It's a technicality, but not a fatal flaw. It's up to the justice of the peace or judge, whomever's hearing the case. So if that's the only thing wrong with it, and you're guilty in every other way, shape, and form, probably you're going to get convicted, or at least not get off on that technicality. If you have bad eyesight, is it a law to wear glasses? If you have eyesight that requires you to wear glasses, and there's a condition on your driver's license that requires you to wear glasses, then yes, it's against the law if you don't wear glasses or contacts while driving, and we can actually issue a ticket for driving while breaking a condition. Boom, boom, boom. So the simple answer is, yeah, if you have a condition on your license to wear glasses, you must wear glasses. If you're in a collision and you're not wearing glasses, we'll make a note of that. How to become a police officer as an international? Do you mean international student? You don't. You have to be a permanent resident or a citizen in order to apply as a police officer in Ontario. If a teen vapes, do the parents get in trouble? Depends. Possibly. How long do I have to have my G to pass to passenger a G1? So how long do you have to be a qualified G? How long do you have to have how much driving experience do you have to be a qualified G? That's the question. So the answer is you have to have 4 years driving experience. That clock starts when you get your G2, and then a total of 4 years has to elapse before you're qualified. The big thing to do is not assume that you're qualified because you have 4 years, because if you have any suspensions, any interruptions in your license, they don't count. So you need to go to the MTO. You get confirmed when you get your new license. It'll have 4 dots vertically arranged to the left of your mini-me photo in the bottom right of your driver's license. That's a lot of information. So if you have all that, then you're qualified. You can be the only person in the front seat while supervising. You must have a BAC or a blood alcohol content under 0.05. Otherwise, you're not capable of supervising. You have to actually be not drunk or under the influence. Hey, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. I am currently live. Well, that's what we're doing. We're doing the live thing on TikTok. I'm currently standing in the lobby of Centennial College Downsview campus. Yeah, we've been doing different campus visits every single day. It's been awesome, meeting all sorts of new people. Lots of folks here follow us, which is awesome. It's really shocking. Somebody really likes pigs. He's a saint who likes pigs. I'm going to mute them because they're using art to show their love of police. But nevertheless, I always think it's funny when people say they don't like the police and then they tell the algorithm that they love me by talking to me constantly. Do cops like donuts? The truth is, if you don't like donuts, you're probably lying, or you have an allergy. But then you probably like the donut, but you can't eat it because of an allergy, and then I feel bad for you. I don't love donuts, but I don't dislike donuts, so I'll have the occasional donut, and my partner bought me a donut this morning, so I ate it. I don't feel guilty at all. Why don't you pull over rust buckets but go for me? Jacob, I don't know why anyone goes for you because I don't know what you're doing. But I'm going to assume that if someone's pulling you over, it's probably because you've illegally modified your vehicle or driving in such a way that you're drawing attention to yourself, because we don't pull people over unless they're doing something worth talking to them about. So if you're creating unnecessary noise, if you've modified your vehicle in some way that we think it's unsafe, if you're driving like a guy who needs to be pulled over by police because it's behavior that causes us to pull you over, not looks. Good-looking cars don't get pulled over. And what you consider a rust bucket is probably driving lawfully. Just saying. Maybe it's you and not your car. Is the minimum BAC 0.08 or 0.05? 0.05 is the legal maximum, or at which point we are going to say you cannot drive any further. So if you get pulled over the 0.05, you're going to get a 3-day suspension on your first warn on your roadside screening device. That's what happens. If you get a second one within 10 years, you actually end up, I think, with a 7-day suspension. I think you have to go to school. I have to double check. But that's just HTAs and suspension. When you're talking about 0.08, you actually entered into the realm of criminal code and you're getting arrested. So 0.08 criminal, 0.05 driver's license no longer going to be yours, at least for a short suspension. Can I get a ticket for eating or drinking in a car? Yeah, you could. It's not a charge for eating or drinking, though. It's careless driving. So if you're driving and you take a bite of your Doritos, or you're having a sip of your coffee because Tim's is important in everyone's life, it's not against the law as long as you're able to maintain the safe operation of your vehicle. If you are not safely driving, well, yeah, you're going to get a ticket for careless driving, or worse, depending on what's happening. I've pulled people over. I've investigated collisions where people, through evidence, have determined that, or it's been determined that they were eating like full-on meals, chicken and rice and everything nice, and they ended up driving into a back of a cement truck. So there's some issues there, and they got careless driving charges, but could it have been more? Potentially, maybe. Hey, if you don't follow us, there's 1,200 people in the room. Please follow us because I'd love to jump my numbers up by 1,200. And, you have the power to do that. So just hit the button. Just saying. It's a thing. Q&A, what we got going on. Okay. What is a cop's go-to meal on duty? I don't think there's a go-to meal. I think that half the cops are absolute muscleheads who have protein shakes and their entire week's worth of food all pre-portioned in a refrigerated... Oh, I got to change batteries. Hang on a second. We're going to lose the microphone for 1 second. I just see the red light. I don't want to lose you. And we're back. Okay, there's the Asif, what is your go-to meal on duty? Your go-to meal. Now, he is not a musclehead, but he's a fitness guy. Popcorn? CJ's go-to meal on duty is Really? Anytime popcorn. Rice cakes? That's kind of almost popcorn, but not popcorn. Okay, so there you go. Depends. I was very often a McDonald's drive-through emergency meal guy, but chicken wings is my go-to anytime. I love chicken wings. And it depends if I was on no carbs, trying to eat stuff that I loved, but that didn't affect my fatness. But it all depends. Then I went through if I was on no carbs, trying to eat stuff that I loved, but that didn't affect my fatness. But it all depends. Then I went through a stint where I was like nothing but salad. There's no go-to meal for me. It's whatever was quick and easy. And sometimes it was nothing. I just never got to eat because we were busy. I'm not the I plan and carry food with me kind of guy. I'm kind of I show up early, I go home late, and I try and make sure I remember to eat. Wouldn't know it from looking at me, but that's what would happen. What is the testing procedure for exhaust decibel level? Well, it depends on what province you're in. In Ontario, there is no testing because we don't need decibel levels to charge you for unnecessary noise. We need to say the noise that you're making is unnecessary and articulate our belief, but that's it. There's no I record you doing anything. There are decibel meters at the, what do they call them? The provincial offences officers, the bylaw officers use to lay charges, but that's not us. That's for the motorcycle bylaw only, though. How much school do you need to be to become a police officer? Grade 12 education, high school, OSSD is the only thing you currently require, although the more school you've got, the better chances you have of beating someone in the competition. So if there's two jobs and two positions left, you have your grade 12 and they have their doctorate, well, the doctor is going to beat you, I think. I mean, you could always be the better candidate, but you must be the better candidate on paper, too. At what point do you search someone's vehicle? Is that a Santegu? What is that? I'm not sure why we have we have little accents on the E there. In any case, it depends. It depends. Subject to arrest or subsequent to arrest, subject to arrest. What am I thinking? Why is my words not working? It could be based on an inventory search. It could be based on reasonable probable grounds and incident to arrest. That's what I was looking for. It could be by statute. It could be if we believe you have hey, you're back. We're still here. She's back. What's your name? Andrea. Andrea's back. She has a keychain. She got a. Oh, she's going to show you the keychain. 2 keychains, in fact. Yes, we roll with swag, folks. We roll with swag. Oh, yes, all the merch. That is a pop socket. Who pops? Do you pop socket? And that's your memo book or your book with a train on it. What program are you in? Aviation, but you have trains on your book. Side thing. Trains are just a hobby, folks. Okay, so it all depends. So yeah, I was saying HTA, it gives search seizure authority for what is it called, for jammers and radar detectors. So it depends. But I've been doing an inventory search after arresting someone for impaired operation, and I came across a trunk full of drugs. Then I got a search warrant, So it depends, and there's different things that give different authorities, and we do stuff. But if we arrest someone or if we see something in plain sight, that might give authority and reason to search. It depends. What happens if a speed camera isn't accurate? Well, they are calibrated and checked and so on like that. And I got to tell you that is not my specialty. That is not a Toronto Police program. That is a City of Toronto program. And I've got a podcast episode scheduled with the people who operate, who run those things. So if you've got questions about it, use our volley. You can get to it by way of the link tree, link in bio, and you can ask that question, and we'll make sure, and I'm sure I'm going to cover that topic anyway with them when we record it, but be sure to be watching TPS Traffic Jam, our podcast, so you should also subscribe to that podcast anywhere that podcasts are available. You can watch it on YouTube with video, or you can watch it or listen to it on the Apple Podcasts. Can you have colored hair to be an officer? Like not my magical color of hair? You mean like a different color of hair? Yeah, I've seen police officers with purple hair, blue hair. There are rules about it. I don't know how far they extend, but yes, you can have accents and colors. Some do it for fundraising, but I don't know. And there's no sergeant present for me to ask as to what the rules are, and I can't remember what it is. Can I drive without a license, but for a drunk person? No. They can take a cab. You can take a cab. You can walk. You can do other things, but you cannot ride. You cannot drive unlicensed. It's against the law. You're also not insured when you do that. But it's just plain. You can walk. You can do other things, but you cannot ride. You cannot drive unlicensed. It's against the law. You're also not insured when you do that. But it's just plain silly. Let's see here. I don't know what ID themselves means. Maybe it's part of another question. I just saw my nephew walking behind you. That's awesome. I did not know that was your nephew, Stephen. But they should come back. Someone wants to know if being a designated driver without a license is illegal. Yeah, Zoe, being a designated driver when you're not a driver is someone who's an unlicensed person behind the wheel and is a risk to everybody else on the road. Is it true that firemen can give me a ticket? Not for driving a motor vehicle. They are not capable of stopping motor vehicles. They're not capable. I mean, I'm sure they could like motion you over, but they have no authority to stop a motor vehicle. Not for the Highway Traffic Act anyway. I don't know what they would issue a ticket for, and I don't know where you are. Maybe it's somewhere, maybe where you are, they're cross-trained as police officers. What does Andrea work as? Well, that's a very good question. Andrea is a student here at Centennial College. She is attending an aeronautics class, because that's why I just asked her what she's taking. She said, I think did she say aviation or aeronautics? Maybe that's the same thing, because I don't go to school here, so I don't know what their terminology is. She had a book with trains on it, and she said that was her side thing. But this is a school, Centennial College, Downsview campus. We're here alongside of Metrolinx, and Go Transit Safety and the security department, and we're talking about traffic safety. I've been talking about all sorts of things with you guys, but they've been actually at the booths that we have on display, talking to other officers, chatting about stuff and things that are important to them. They really want to know about what you're studying and what you're doing here. Why are you here? They didn't. Yeah. Well, see, what does Andrea work as?
I don't work, but I'm in school to be an aviation maintenance engineer. Aviation
maintenance engineer. All right. You heard it.
At an advantage when applying. For what?
I think they're asking about police officer. Not my business. Not. She says not her business, and she's gone. Okay. That was good timing. She just meandered by as that was still on screen. If you have a disability, can you still be a cop? It depends on the disability. If it prevents you from performing the duties as a police officer, maybe there's a different position you could apply for. But we have had people who are amputees have become police officers. I am a police officer who is currently not able to go on the road due to injury, and I'm still a cop. Could I have applied today to become a police officer with my physical situation? I wouldn't have been able to pass the test. So you have to still pass the tests. What is the salary for a police officer? Well, it depends where you work. Every service, every jurisdiction is going to have different ranges. I believe $65,000 a year is your cadet in training salary. I think about $75,000 a year is your fourth class constable, and it goes up to about 110 is base salary for a constable with 4 years on the job, roughly, maybe 4.5, almost 5. If everyone drives 115 on the 401, how do you issue a ticket? Well, I think we should put photo radar on. What do you think? I think we should have everyone who goes 1 kilometer over nailed by mail. Nailed by mail. I should make a website. Anyway, the fact is you're not allowed to speed. And what has happened when people don't get pulled over for a certain speed is it becomes the unofficial speed limit. People just think it's okay. It's not. You increase your odds of becoming involved in a collision significantly. I think it's 6 times that of a regular lawful driver. So why are you putting yourself at risk to get somewhere like a minute earlier? Like really, you're talking about over 100 kilometers. So if you're doing 15 kilometers an hour more than the person who's doing 100, that means over an hour you would get 15 kilometers farther It's not significant. It's not significant. But what you do is put yourself at risk. And guess what? Even if you're ticketed, and we do pull people over for 20 kilometers over, 15 kilometers over. It depends on the officer who's working and what their threshold is. For me, 15 over on a 60 kilometer an hour zone, all day long I'll pull you over. 15 over is not okay. If 5 kilometers over in a 30 kilometer zone, I will pull you over all day long for that. So, how hard is the police training? Depends on how you are as a learner. I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed my time at the police college. I didn't like the running, but that's a different story. I'm just not a runner. Should we put speed to 120? No. The speed limit is the speed limit, and I'm not an engineer, so I won't tell you that it's a good idea or a bad idea. I'll just tell you that we'll enforce whatever laws are on the books. That's the deal. I don't think it should be 120. I think we're having enough problems with people who are driving into things at 100. And if we make it 120, I have a feeling people will be more inclined to do 140. Can I get away with going 170 on the 401? We get people who get stopped and their vehicles get seized. Anything over 150 anywhere, or 150 and over is stunt driving. We're going to catch you for 170 most likely. We've had some people over 200 on the 401. We've had people doing that on our city highways because we have the DVP and the FGX, and we've had people at those speeds. Yeah, we take their cars. In fact, I'd be looking at criminal charges at that speed. Let's see here. Can you get it? Oh, I like this one. Can you get away if you get caught driving with a G1? Get away with what? I give you a ticket for driving, or a G1 drive unaccompanied. The owner of the vehicle is going to get a visit from me, and I'm going to charge them for letting you drive the car. If they say they didn't let you drive the car, then I'm going to come back and charge you criminally for take vehicle without consent. Upon conviction of your G1 drive unaccompanied, you're going to get a 30-day suspension. After your if you do it again, you're going to get a 90-day suspension. On your third conviction, you're going to get kicked out of the graduated licensing program. If you get involved with a collision while you're driving G1 unaccompanied, you're going to be found to get all the charges that I've already mentioned, but you're also not insured. So you borrowed mom's car, no problem. When you hit someone, you broke something, your insurance will likely cover that. And whether your mom let you do it or didn't do it will determine how your insurance covers you, but it's not going to cover the vehicle. You likely just took that vehicle and flushed it down the toilet. So driving G1 unaccompanied is possibly the king of stupid choices. But people do it all the time, and we catch them all the time. Can I have lights under my car? As long as we can't see them, underglow lighting. Usually it's neon, which was back in the 80s, and then LED sometimes now. Really, it's not something that we endorse or suggest. Is it specifically illegal? No. You can, if you install it properly where the bulbs are not visible, it's really not an issue. Just avoid anything that flashes, avoid blue, avoid red, avoid green. Somebody wants me to arrest someone in politics. That's not my area of expertise, but somebody, I'm not going there. Okay, can I drive my car into the U.S. with a Canadian license? Most definitely you can. If you have conditions on your license, you must adhere to those. So if you're not allowed to drink alcohol because you have a condition to have a 0 BAC, then you must have a 0 BAC there as well. Now that is for a G2 or a G. A G1 is not eligible to be used outside of the province of Ontario. Can someone be a police officer with a record? If it's a minor record on a case-by-case basis, they may choose to, be loose with it, but they may allow you to apply if it's minor in age. But if it's recent, no, I don't think you would be able to. Hey, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable standing in a very large area close to planes and helicopters. It is the Centennial College campus at Downsview, and they learn all about aviation stuff here. I've spent a lot of time at the hangar next door for sports-related stuff, and I've always walked by and seen these cool planes. They have way more of them outside. I'll take some pictures later to share with you on my Instagram. But the truth is, it's a funky place, and it's on a former military base. Now, there's still military on the other side of the airstrip, but on this side, it's all civilianized. There's a go-kart place, and they've got some basketball hoops dome and all sorts of stuff, cool stuff here. It's a city park. Yeah. How do you address racism against the BIPOC community? Racism is wrong. I think we all know that. I think that we also acknowledge that everyone, even if they are not racists, may have some level of, preconceived notions or apprehension, or people who just didn't grow up with other people. So there's people who have some adjusting to do. But I've never seen any overt racism. Now, when I came on the job, people were different around me. People said things they shouldn't have to me, and I dealt with it a little bit, being the recipient of some racism. But I'm not part of specifically the BIPOC community, but I don't see it. So there's all sorts of training. We're constantly being trained to better ourselves and be more understanding and educated about different faiths and groups. And I don't see it, but I feel for the people who have been on the receiving end of racism from any group. Are you allowed to excuse a ticket? You're back.
Yeah, I'm back.
You're back. What's up?
I got a question.
Okay, question. She's skipping the line.
Back in September, I was in an accident.
She was in an accident in September.
Not my fault.
Wasn't her fault.
So if you're going through an intersection, someone makes
Do you want
a
to?
path,
Maybe you should speak into the microphone.
it's their fault, right?
Hold on. You got to get it back up. I didn't hear you.
Okay, so if you go straight through an intersection and someone makes a left, it's their fault, right?
Okay, so if someone is turning, you're going straight, you have the right of way, you're on a green light, someone turns into your path and you hit them, 99% of the time the person turning is going to be at fault. Okay, they got charged. See, we were right. What else you want to know? Because that's just a story. Well, it wasn't a question. Well, I guess it was a question.
Really kind of is a question because like I had a lot of people telling me different things.
Right. Well, and that's what we do on this Ask a Traffic Cop thing, is always answering questions.
How fast you are. I wasn't even doing the speed limit. I was like, oh, 500. So
You were in 500, which is good, because speed limits, yeah.
it was like 55 and it was like 60. Like, that road was like, I'm done for it. Like 60.
Right on. Okay, so you weren't speed, so people were trying to blame you and try and say you were at fault?
Yeah, because I had the driver trying to like put it on me.
Well, because nobody wants to take responsibility for the things they do.
And he was driving like a big, like
Big truck?
truck. So it wasn't like a transport. Like
But it was still like a straight truck?
one of those huge trucks.
So, did you have a dash camera? Best thing ever.
That's what I need.
Yeah,
I always said if I'm driving, I want a dash.
dash camera for the win.
I'm gonna go, try to purchase one, but
You can get them cheap now, but you should get one. She needs one.
in the back one, like the back too.
You can get front and back, yeah. Some have GPS, record your speed. As long as you don't speed, you got nothing to hide.
Yeah, there you go.
See? So the question was, are you allowed to excuse a ticket? And the answer is, if I give you a ticket, either I can choose whether to give you or not give you a ticket. Once the ticket's issued, if it was a lawful ticket, I don't excuse them. I don't take them back. Could they do it? Maybe, possibly. I've seen people withdraw them. It's a process. But why would we do that? We issued you them back. Could they do it? Maybe, possibly. I've seen people withdraw them. It's a process. But why would we do that? We issued you a ticket for a reason. Advice when neighbors' kids keep climbing my tree. Talk to the parents. They're trespassing. If you've told them not to do it, yeah. And you're concerned, I'm sure, for their safety and for no other reason, so they don't get hurt while climbing your tree. Because there's a liability issue there. But if they're there, maybe put a sign up saying don't trespass. And then it becomes the next level of there's no reasonable belief that they're allowed to be there. But definitely, I would let the parents know. Rules on passing on a single solid yellow line. Lines are not enforceable in the province of Ontario. They are enforceable elsewhere. So if you pass on a single solid yellow line, which is one suggesting you don't pass, then you are entirely responsible for what you do afterwards. But you won't get a ticket for crossing the line. You could be given a ticket for unsafe maneuver or unsafe lane change or any other number of things. When did you last run and chase a criminal? I haven't run in a while. I'm injured after a motorcycle collision, so running's not my thing. When did you last run and chase a criminal? I haven't run in a while. I'm injured after a motorcycle collision, so running's not my thing. But chasing a criminal, we have cars and motorcycles and all sorts of great things. I don't run after people. I drive up and arrest them. It's so much easier. Why would you run? But we have people for that. They're young. But chasing a criminal, we have cars and motorcycles and all sorts of great things. I don't run after people. I drive up and arrest them. It's so much easier. Why would you run? But we have people for that. They're young. They do that. I like when people try and be rude, and they look silly when they look. But we have people for that. They're young. They do that. I like when people try and be rude, and they look silly when they look and try and get rude. But because I'm assuming that did. Oh, okay. Hey, how you doing? Sure.
If you had like an injury, like a concussion or something,
Yeah.
sensitivity to light, is there
It's not allowed. There's no legal exemption for tinted windows. You can wear sunglasses. But that's the maximum. You can't put anything on your windshield. No worries. A lot of people ask about tinted windshields. Can't do it. Can't do it. Okay. So we had lost connection, so I don't know. And we're back. Don't know what was going on there. What do we have here? Let me flip my mirror. Okay, here we go. Q&A. Okay, so back to this. You can apply at 18? Yes. Older is usually better. Life experience is one of those things that you get through time and nothing else. But could you be hired at 18? Sure, you could. Are women at an advantage when applying? Well, there's tend to be fewer women applying, so we do need female applicants. So I think it's an advantage. But at the end of the day, the best applicants are the ones that they are going to be hiring. Talk to a recruiter. They even have programs, coaching programs, to help females get through the coaching, what's it called, testing process. It's one of those things because it's technique, and they want to get as many people in as possible. Are you at Centennial? Yes, I am. I'm at the Downsview Centennial College location.
Hi, sir.
How's it going?
Good, good. I just had some questions to ask.
Sure. He's bumping the line.
Is muffler delete illegal?
Muffler deletes are illegal. You must have a muffler. You must have a resonator. You take it off, it's charge.
And can you put LED bars in the roof rack?
You can, but not for use on the road. It's off-road only, the LED roof rack.
And then how long is the international driving license valid?
An international driver's license, well, it depends. Are you a resident of Ontario? Are you going to school? Or are you just visiting? Well, you're a student means you're a resident of Ontario. So once you become a resident, you have 3 months to get a license here.
That's all.
Yeah. So after 3 months, you can't use your international license. And an international license means the license that was issued by your home country. But yeah, after 3 months, you can't use it. You're a resident here when you're going to school here, so you have to apply for an Ontario license.
All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Live questions are always cool. Hey, if you don't know who's talking here, if you don't know this mug, it's because you've probably never seen this live. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service. I answer your traffic and police questions every day. It's what I do. We have people watching from the second story, watching over the side rail. What made you want to be a cop? I think it was watching Chips as a kid. 70s and 80s television rocked. What does this say? Is a ticket 2 times around specific areas like schools? So in school zones, there's an increased fine. What the exact dollar amount difference is, I don't know. There's a calculator I look at. Well, let's see. I got a calculator. I got a speed calculator here. Where's my speed calculator? So, if we're talking, I don't know, let's take 10 over. So, it's $50 for a 10 over in a regular zone. Sorry, it's $40 in a regular zone. It's $65 in a what's it called? It's a community safety zone. But let's take that to 30 over. $220 in a regular zone, $450 in a community safety zone. Let's say 49 over, because this is a good number. $359 in a regular zone. In a community safety zone, $718. And we're still the cheapest in Canada, the lowest ticket fines issued in Canada. We should raise them. We should raise them like by 10 times. What do you think? No one wants to hear that. Do you have to have a muffler on your car? That was a question the chap asked me just now. He wanted to know if a muffler delete was legal, and the answer is no. A muffler delete is not legal. I can see him watching from up top. Will you show up in court if ticket going there? Will you show up in court if ticket's going there? Yeah, I show up. I get paid to show up, and I'm obligated to show up. If I don't show up, I need a good excuse. I need to be excused by a sergeant, so I show up. I like trials. I like the challenge of making my case. You know, it's like watching law on TV. How you doing? Good. How you doing? Excellent. Okay, we already covered the can I be an officer at 18. Is there a chance you'll die young as a cop? There's a chance you'll die young taking the bus. There's no. It is a higher risk profession than others, but it's a risk. Walking your dog, you could have a heart attack. You get hit by a car, a bus, a train, a plane. A satellite could fall out of the sky and take you out. There's risk everywhere. Parents are encouraging them to play in a tree. Well, that's a problem because it's on your property, and you could always have a lawyer's letter. You could always caution them. You could always build a fence. Different things to try and get people to stay off your property, but they're not lawfully or legally permitted to be there. You could involve the police if you really got there, but the police is kind of the last resort. Calling the police to say, please don't play on my lawn, is unfortunate. It can go there, but I would exhaust all other things, and I would document it. Send them a registered letter. Tell them for realsies, stop it. What is Ex-Copper? Ex-Copper is a private company that defends you in they're paralegals. They defend you in court, go on your behalf. Okay. We're taking pictures. Why'd you do it as a selfie in the picture? It's better than just taking a picture of me. What's that? Yeah, of course you can have a picture.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's always cool when we go to events and people are like, I know that guy. You're that guy. You're that guy. What is this? Is it true that officers touch the taillight? You probably see it on 9 out of 10 videos in the United States. It's not something that we do very often here. It's not something in our training, but it does create a continuity of evidence. I touch the car. When that car is caught later, if it happens to get out of the way or take off on me, I have my fingerprint there, and only I know where I put it. Okay. Have you ever excused a ticket? I took back one ticket that I realized was incorrect. I did apply, and I had to get authorization to do it. So I've taken back a ticket. I literally believe it was one ticket in all the years that I've written them. I own a car, the bike, and sled. Can I get ownership? I have no idea what you're talking about. If you own a vehicle and it's in your name and you lost the ownership, go to the Ministry of Transportation, pay for a new document, they'll issue it to it. If you don't own it, then I don't know how you would get that ownership. So I don't quite understand what your question is. When did you start working in the Toronto Police? I started working in the year 2000. When some people were born. Some people I know were born. I feel old now. 22 years ago. I started as an auxiliary constable. Same year I became a special constable with the courts, and then I became a police officer later on. Can people work cop with deaf? Can a police officer who's deaf, can someone who's deaf become a police officer? Is that what you mean, or do we work with deaf people? We do have many people who are ASL that have sign language ability. I don't have that ability, but we do have officers that are trained that speak that communicate in that language. What are we talking here? Driving with plates that are not yours, probably a problem. If you stole the plates, or if you've got plates that are assigned to somebody else and you just happen to affix them to your vehicle, yeah, there's charges for that. Is underglow, LED underglow, legal in Ontario? It's not illegal, but if the bulbs are visible, if they're projecting in the wrong direction, like outwards, that's going to be a problem. Oh, will you ticket an electric bike going over 32? Yeah, not just ticket. I'm charging you for drive no insurance, for drive no license, for drive no license plate. I'm going to charge you for prohibited vehicle, unsafe vehicle. What else? I charge you with everything under the sun. If you have an e-bike that you've modified, you're getting the full whack. Every single thing. Because you are doing something illegal. You're taking advantage. You're driving a motor vehicle that should be the same as any motorcycle under the law, and you're taking advantage of it, and you're lying, saying that it's a bicycle, and you're putting people at risk. It's not a safe vehicle. You want to go fast? Buy a car, get a license, pay insurance. Do you need lights on when driving at night? Yes. You must have 2 headlights. You must have at least 1 tail light. I saw a motorcycle driving 2 days ago on the way to work, had no tail light, was invisible, and was driving like an absolute donkey. What's another word for donkey? That person, it was foggy, and I was worried they were going to die. It was just so incredibly dangerous. And I got their license plate. I got to send them a letter to tell them that they're not only is their driving horrible, but they were doing it while nearly invisible to the rest of the world. They were going to get hurt. I'd be surprised if they made it to work in one piece. Can you drive a bicycle with a motor under 50 cc's? It's a motor vehicle. That's a motorcycle that needs license ownership and insurance. It needs to have a license plate and a licensed motorcycle operator operating it. It's an unsafe vehicle for the road. The only thing you can do with a bicycle that's being converted with a gasoline engine or an engine that runs on any kind of stuff I want to say, like, it doesn't matter if it's hydrogen, it's still illegal. It's a motor vehicle. It needs to be licensed. Off-road only, on your private property only. And if it's going to be on the road, it's a motor vehicle. Expect to see the full gambit of charges if you're caught. Now, does everyone get caught? No, I see bikes like this all the time when I'm on personal vehicle. Sometimes I get them pulled over by the local police who may or may not know that it's illegal. I help them out with all the case law to help them charge the officer, the individual who's breaking the law. What is this? Is it legal for police to be hiding while monitoring speeding? Yeah, we don't need to wave a flag and say we're going to charge you for a ticket if you pass this point. No, hiding is perfectly legit. And it's not entrapment, despite the people really not understanding what entrapment is. We are allowed to catch you when you break the law. It's sort of how it works. You break the law, you're putting yourself out there. That's like going on a dating site and saying you want to connect. Well, when you speed, you're saying to me that you'd like a ticket from me. That's how it works. And if you are choosing to engage in that behavior, whether I'm hiding behind a tree or behind a rock, whatever works. Truth is, usually I'm standing right at the side of the road in full visibility on it with a green vest on, and the speeder has no idea because they're so focused on their cell phone. But that's a different story. Yeah, speeding bad. Don't speed. Why can you have an electric bike but not gas? Because there is specific legislation that allows an e-bike that conforms to the e-bike legislation and specifically says electric power, not gas. It's because the law is written to allow one and not the other. It's to be more green. It's to promote green transportation, not loud, obnoxious miniature motors on bicycles that are unsafe. Okay. Can you convert a 250/450 dirt bike to street legal? There's been ways to do it. My understanding is VIN numbers will prevent you from ever doing it, but if it's not a dual purpose out of the box, it might be difficult. It needs certain equipment. It needs to be authorized by Transport Canada to be on the road, is my understanding. What's your day-to-day like? You're looking at it. Now, I 6 to 2, the hours I work, I'm in meetings and planning stuff all day, and then I go live from 10 to 11 normally. This week we've been going on location to different Centennial College locations, but at the end of the day, it's dealing with education all day long, researching different laws when questions come up, creating safety plans, training programs, all sorts of stuff, dealing with both mainstream media as well as social media, but we're constantly researching and learning. And my God, I've got like 8 hours of courses I have to do next week. Do cops pull over other cops? Cops pull over cars that violate. Yes. At times we will pull over other police. Sometimes it happens to be an undercover police officer, and that undercover police officer is lawfully performing their duties in a police car that we don't even know it's a police car until we pull it over. How do you feel about Apple Maps marking speed traps? Slows people down, I don't care. It's not against the law to do it. It's if you're paying attention and you slow down, sort of good. I would love to report police at every intersection because that would mess with people and slow them down. I would do that. Don't speed. No one should speed. What is this? If a cop on the other side of road, can I walk up to it? Can you walk up to a police officer? Yeah, don't sneak up on a police officer. That's a good way to startle someone and then end up being unhappy. But, there's nothing wrong with kind of saying hello to a police officer. We welcome the conversation on most days. If we're busy dealing with something, stay back. Do you have your own canine, your police officer dog? I do not have a canine. I'm not a canine or a dog officer dog unit. We have a canine unit, and they have some beautiful dogs. I know some people that are there. I know someone who just recently joined that unit as a sergeant. Congratulations if he's watching, by the way. Okay. How many Tim Hortons donuts can you gobble down? Well, it depends if we're having a competition or not. I love people who try and be offensive and realize that we don't care. Gobble down. I think I could, at very least, I could do a box of 10 Timbits. Why do people try and make donut jokes? Oh, I've never tried to gobble down a box of donuts in a timed competition. That would probably make somebody look silly. Will cops do anything if someone owes me money? No, it's a civil matter. You'd have to sue them in small claims court. Do you work cop morning and night? Do I work cop morning and night? I am a cop morning and night. I am a cop 24/7. I never stop being a cop. Off duty doesn't absolve me of my responsibilities or the powers that are entrusted unto me as a police officer. Do I go home and actually go to sleep? Sure I do. Morning, noon, and night police officer would be very exhausting, but we are technically police 24/7. What's the music bylaw? I'm not familiar with the bylaws so much as the unnecessary noise law under the Highway Traffic Act, so I don't know the details of stuff in your house. What is this? If I rear end because of a sneeze attack, my fault? Well, yeah, it's still your fault. You still drove into them. But, might you get leniency or might you have a defense? You're still responsible. Still your insurance that's going to pay. This person says, I don't like the cops and I don't like you guys. It makes me sad. At the same time, thank you for the message. It shows the algorithm that you love us. Never understand. Okay. Yellow light, stop or go. Yellow light means stop unless it's unsafe to do so. So if you are approaching a light that's yellow, you're expected to stop. And if you go through it, you are eligible for a ticket for fail to stop, amber signal, and that has the same consequences as running a red light. Things you should have known, but apparently didn't. Can you eat while driving? Is it distracted driving? Distracted driving is limited to very specific offenses, handheld communication device, handheld entertainment device, and screen visible to driver. That said, it could be careless driving. How many years have you been on the job? I've been a member of the Toronto Police Service for 22 years. Do you have to wear a helmet on an e-bike? Yes, you do. Regardless of your age, you must wear an e-bike or a helmet on an e-bike. How many years in uniform before becoming detective? Detective means you're a sergeant working in the Criminal Investigation Bureau. If you move back to the road from being in the detective office, you go back to being a police sergeant. And it's just a change of title based on where you were working. When I worked in the CIB, I was a detective constable because I'm a police constable, but I was working in the detective office. So we're a little different. NYPD, you become a detective, you're a detective for life, regardless of where you go later. Somebody keeps asking the same question, so we'll just mute you for a little while. Sorry, thank you. Is it illegal driving a dirt bike? It is if you're on the road. How long after smoking should you wait to drive? Well, if you're under the influence of drugs, you should not be driving. And how can you determine when you are no longer under the influence? Well, you probably want to wait till the next day. It depends on you. Everyone's different. But any consumption of drugs, whether it be marijuana, alcohol, will affect everyone differently. So I can't give you a period of time that it is okay. The truth is, if you're going to consume drugs or alcohol, don't drive. Do not drive impaired. Can the police pull over TTC buses? As a matter of fact, yes, and we do. And my partner and I wanted to on the way over here because this dingleberry, I don't know what kind of. I want to be offensive, but friendly offensive. So I'm thinking of a word that I can say that denotes just how frustrated this person operating a bus who interfered and blocked an intersection for 2 cycles because they didn't have the patience to wait until it was their turn safely. They failed to clear an intersection. So we were contemplating what to do. So what we've actually done is recorded the bus number, and we're going to discuss it with their supervisor later because we were late to come here and I needed to talk to you on TikTok. But that we weren't in a uniform vehicle with lights and sirens. So, that person really deserves a ticket. Can I bring my AR-15 to Canada to hunt from the USA? No. Unfortunately, they are prohibited or a restricted item that is currently... have they finished off on that? Anyway, it's a prohibit. You can't have it. If you have it and you own it here, is one thing, but you can't enter the country with it. What is this? What's better, to apply for the city police or the RCMP? As far as I know, we make more money, but it depends on what kind of policing you want to do. My buddy's with the RCMP. He loves it. Does he love it? I think at one point he was talking about leaving. He went from the military to the RCMP. I don't know. I like where I am, so I'm always going to say Toronto Police is the best. TPS.ca/careers. That's where you would go to apply to become a police officer here. Right now, we're hiring. If you have any desire to be a police officer in Toronto, you couldn't find a better time because we actually need to replace people who are retiring. Well, based on the fact that we need people, not just want, but actually need them, you should take advantage of that opportunity. When I first wanted to apply, there was a hiring freeze. They didn't need anybody. So much so that they stopped hiring. Does Canada have a license point system? Ontario does. Each province does. So yes, we do. And we talk to each other. As a cop, how do you attend to your mental health? Well, we have coverage for mental health, what's it called? Therapy, if we want it. We talk to people. We communicate. We laugh a lot. We deal with tough things every day. We lost our brother at my unit. My buddy got killed, murdered. That affects you. So talking to people and taking it seriously and acknowledging that mental health is real and that people suffer mental health injuries due to exposure to high stress and different times. So acknowledging that it's real is a first step. But we want to beat the stigma. It's not wrong to be suffering. It's bad to not deal with the suffering, to hide it or swallow it down hard. Yeah. Trump or Biden? Well, one is the president, one isn't the president, and we're in Canada. Let's see here. What's going on here? Just wanted to say hi from Manitoba, Canada. Hey, Manitoba, what's going on? Manitoba, Canada, they're here watching. Do you need I feel like we should give you a tour because Manitoba hasn't seen the inside of the school. Truly, I haven't seen the inside of the school. This person is scared, isn't a real cop, so I drive to police station. No, you pull over immediately because if you choose not to pull over when lights and sirens are going on behind you, you've actually just engaged in a police pursuit. When you fail to pull over as required, you enter a police pursuit. And then you escalate things, and then you end up with other charges. Pull over, stay in your vehicle, roll down the window, tell the officer or person that you don't believe is an officer that you don't believe that they're an officer. Ask to see their ID. If they can't produce identification, call 911. If they produce identification and you're still not satisfied, well, call 911 because they'll be able to verify. Or maybe they'll have a radio and they'll say, hey, this person doesn't believe who I am. Could you send another car? Maybe they'll send a sergeant. But the truth is, if you are someone that's being investigated for impaired operation and this is a tactic that you use, it's probably going to end poorly. People have been pulled out of their cars for not complying with lawful demands. So the excuse of I don't think you're really a police officer only goes so far, and if we can accommodate you, we will. But if there is a lawful authority to arrest you, expect to be arrested. Yeah. Oh, yeah? Oh, it's serious stuff. Sure. Wait, you have a question? I find this very hard to believe. What is your question? Yeah. Perks or freebies with my badge? No. I have to think about that because I've gone places to do things and I've needed to use my badge to get in somewhere, but it was all for an official purpose. No, that's actually against the rules. Yeah. In fact, I've gone to Tim Hortons and argued with them about them wanting to give me free stuff. Because some places want to say thank you to the police, and technically we can't accept it. And then you argue and you try, and I end up usually putting money in the donation bin or paying for the coffee behind me, for the person behind me, whatever the case may be. But I've never gone out with the intention of, hey, can I get a deal because I'm a cop? I get paid good money. I don't need more.
Or, okay, how about, say obviously you're a police officer, but if one of your colleagues or whatever is
I don't know if you can hear this question, so I'm going to try. I'm going to reread the question or repeat the question. Go ahead.
So, if one of your colleagues are breaking the law.
Oh yeah. Colleagues that's breaking the law, doing something criminal, not just report them. We're going to interfere. We're going to stop them from doing what they're doing. You can arrest a police officer. Yeah. Or
if they're on duty and you're on duty, you can arrest them.
Well, if they're breaking the law, if they're doing something criminal, yeah, you could. Yeah. We don't just watch someone do criminal things and say. Because now I'm a party to it, right? Now I'm contributing to that illegal act.
But how if some you're undercover, they're like, oh yeah, I'm some nice goody police officer, but they're doing stuff under the table.
Well, Well, we have something called professional standards. We actually have a unit that follows police and checks police and makes sure that they're doing things right. Like you do something wrong, you don't know if you're being watched while you're doing it. Right? If you're a criminal police officer, chances are you have someone who's watching you be a criminal but building a case to arrest you. Yeah. We don't let bad guys be bad guys.
Like people just following you.
Well, I don't know. They could be watching me on TikTok right now. I don't know. But every day I go out with the intention of helping people, educating people. The concept of being a criminal has never crossed my mind. But there are people who are bad people who seem to get through somehow. They faked it, and we catch them eventually.
Yeah, because I always wonder that. I'm like, what if like a criminal or whatever, like if they don't have like.
There's movies about that. Like there was like a gang, and like one member of the gang grew up, to be the only guy who didn't get in trouble, so he could join the police and be the inside gang guy. Yeah, there's movies about this stuff. I don't know if any of it's true, but yeah.
Well, it's like, yeah, if you're a criminal, let's say you don't have like a record, because also they check your record to like, like okay, you can't be a police officer.
Yeah.
You have a record. They look at you.
Well, yeah. Well, we have people when the background checks, when they come to look at your history, they want to know if you've ever been involved in anything bad, and then they go door to door, knock on all the doors of your neighbors, and what do they think of you? They played music loud. What kind of kid were they? Oh yeah. Yeah. They go back like 5-7 years. Depends. And of course, you find something if we hear something that's wrong, it's like a hint that there's probably more wrong. So they keep checking until they exclude you from the possibility of being a police officer. Yeah. We don't. You too until you have another question. Okay. Some questions are more interesting than others. Do I know any rappers? I do not know any rappers. No, I can't tell anybody that they're a clown. What is this? Let's see. Maybe it's time to shut it down. I have a loud car, but follow the rules. Is that okay? If your loud car isn't loud enough to be attracting attention from police, then it's probably not that loud. But if you have a loud car that does catch our attention, know that loud cars are illegal, and you could still get charged. So no, it's not okay to have a loud car because it's illegal. Is it legal to collect police badges? Police badges have become more and more regulated, and they're owned by the police service. So if you have a police badge, depending on how you acquired it, you're probably in possession of stolen property. What's the worst thing you had to deal with? I don't know. Lately, it's about people asking questions about how fast can they go over the speed limit and not get caught. But other than that, there's nothing really bad going on. Non-Ontario cars with mods illegal in Ontario. Depends. If it's something like you're driving with one license plate because your province doesn't install or does not issue 2 license plates, then you're okay. If you tint your windshield and you drive into Ontario, it's illegal and you can be charged. It doesn't make you, there's no exemption just because you're from somewhere else. You might get a pass from the police officer. That's up to them. Do warnings go on your record? Warnings are warnings. They go into our system. They don't go onto your actual criminal record or your driving record because they're warnings. Someone passes out in the car, do they get charged? If they're passed out drunk, sure, they get arrested. If you're being passed out when they're driving, it's a medical emergency, they may not get charged. Depends on what the medically is determined to have caused it. If they were passed out because of drug use, then yeah. People want to know about vaccines and bananas. I'm not into that. This isn't a political channel. Can I have colored fog lights? What about others? You can have white or yellow, that's it. White or yellow for the lights projecting forward on a motor vehicle. What is this? Best people to get reference letters from for app. What is this? Well, we do a background check. It's quite lengthy as a background check, and you have to see a doctor, a psychologist, who has to sign off on you to become a police officer. What's this one? Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. People are going back to class. There was like a little break, a little bit of action here. Okay. Hey, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. I go live on social media answering your traffic and police questions Monday to Friday from 10 to 11. It's 11:41, and that's because I started after 10, about 10:30. We've been going for about an hour and 10 minutes. Might be time to wrap it up. I don't know. 507 people in the room. We can keep it going if you got questions. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Bloop says, this is super cool. Thank you, sir. Well, you're very welcome. Let me put this on my chest. This is the wireless receiver. Where can I put this? I need a place to put this. I want to take you for a tour. I want to wander around here a little bit because I need to move. Okay. All right. We're going to wander a little bit. Madeline Moore says, I have a question. Hands in the air, you're arrested. That's funny. Okay. Let's turn the camera around. Let me show you what we can see. And we're seeing airplanes. 2 of them. What is that? Oh, these are some older things. They have some pontoons over there. There's some cool stuff. What is this? Okay. Are blue headlights legal in Ontario? No, they're not. White or amber. White or amber only. I want to take you outside for a quick sec. Just because I want you to see what's outside in terms of the helicopters and stuff. How difficult is it to become a police officer? Well, the answer is it's different. It is difficult. It's a competitive process. They don't just hand over badges and guns. You have to compete, and then you have to pass all your testing. So it is a competitive process. But all the information on what you can do to become one is available at www.tps.ca/careers. So check it out. If you're interested in doing it, it's worthwhile. It's the best job in the world. At least I'm very biased when I say it's the best job in the world, but I really believe that. Is there a legal brightness for lights? Yes, there is as a maximum. I can't tell you what it is offhand because I don't remember, but I've read it, and I know it exists. Can airplanes get tickets? Is there a speed limit? I actually, on my VoiceOver Cop channel, I think it was on my VoiceOver Cop channel, maybe it was this one, I actually got into the cockpit of an airplane when I was flying to Florida, and I asked about that. I asked him if we'd be speeding, and he says, nope, not speeding. There's actually a maximum speed they can lawfully travel at, or they get in trouble with air control, with air traffic control. Okay, flipping the camera. How do I focus on this? How do I do this? What is that? So that's, what is that? Orange, a retired orange? There's a Bombardier large view. Here, this is a better place. I think this is awesome. And then there's a couple of helicopters. That's an itty bitty. I don't even think I could fit in that. I got to talk to someone. I got to see if I can, here. I got to see if I can get a chance to sit in one of these. That was my intention. Got a chance to see what I was talking about when I said that there was, an aviation aeronautics course here. Planes and no trains. Is a digital copy of driver's license accepted? No, I'm afraid it's not. You must surrender the actual plastic card upon demand of a police officer for reasonable inspection. That's what the law says. That's what you must do. And while a police officer might accept because they're just being kind, it's not meeting the lawful the requirements under law. Are radar detectors legal? No, they're not. Not in Ontario. You can't possess them. You can't buy them. You can't sell them. You can't transport them. If we believe you have them, we can search and seize based on that. Now, this is interesting. You got to look at this. I'm gonna give you. I got to take lots of video about this one because this is a. No, I don't want mirroring on. Hang on a second. This is interesting because what I'm seeing here. Okay. What do we have here? We have an electric motorcycle that someone is using as an e-bike. Obviously, they're a student here. It's an emo. That is an illegal motorcycle. Now, why do I say it's illegal? Well, I bet you dollars to donuts that has more than a 500-watt motor on it. The pedals are being removed. There are pedals that are back here. I'm going to point with my foot right there. Pedals are supposed to be applied to there so that you can pedal this as a bicycle. But, of course, they're never on because no one would ever ride that with pedals. This would be a horrible donkey to try and pedal. But this thing probably does 60, 70, or 80 kilometers an hour. Looks like a motorcycle, acts like a motorcycle. It's a motorcycle. It needs license, ownership, and insurance. Now, the question is, do I wait for them to come out today so I can charge them for driving on... Like, I don't have evidence of them driving on the road. I know it got here somehow, but I don't have evidence of them driving on the road, because that would be a wonderful set of charges. It really bothers me when people do things like this. Here we go. Mirror. There we are. Mirror. All right. So that's a perfect example of an absolutely illegal e-bike. Do. Digital copy of insurance, is it legal? Yes. The answer is that the legislation has been changed recently, and you can actually surrender proof electronically of your insurance, as long as the company that you buy or pay for your insurance with actually provides you an electronic version through an app. How's it going? Am I a dream? Are you a dream? Seeing this person in real life? It's me in real life.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Ali.
Ali, nice to meet you, Ali.
Nice to meet you. Of course, you're well known.
Me?
Yeah.
People have seen me before?
Well, yeah.
Actually, a lot of people have come up and said that they watch. It's awesome.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, we've been live streaming for like an hour and a half. Yeah, of course. This is Ali.
hello. Yeah, so...
Here, there's no...
Hi, so yeah, this is Ali. We are here in the Centennial Aviation Campus. We're actually getting here like really awesome tips for traffic, how to be safe on the road. It's really amazing, especially right now. People are getting back to work after COVID, all of the lockdown. People are back on the road. So thank you very much for the tips. Yeah, also, especially for us, we sometimes, most of the time, work night shift. So taking care on the road, especially when you're leaving your shift in the morning, is really a big thing for us.
Cool.
To make sure that we leave home, we come back safely.
That's it.
So thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got a chance to say hello.
I'm going to watch myself.
Okay, well, it's live right now, so what I'll do is I'll upload this to YouTube later as a replay, because we're live right now.
I'll be famous.
You're going to be famous.
Yes.
All right. We are looking for, are you getting paid right now? That's what he wants to know. They want to know if I'm being paid. Yes, I am on duty. I'm working my regular shift as a police officer with the Toronto Police Service. So yes, I'm on duty right now, and I am getting paid. And you know what? I do this a lot off duty for free. It feels better when I'm getting paid, though. I got to tell you. Laws about driving on an opioid prescription. If you are impaired by drugs or alcohol, regardless of their prescription, it's still against the law. No drugs, no alcohol when you're driving. Take care. Yes. Again, pleasure meeting you. Take care. Say hi if you're on the live. Take care. Nice to meet you. Is it mandatory to keep car documents in the car? If they are, if the car documents are your ownership document, a photocopy is okay. Originals aren't required. You have to have them to surrender to police upon demand. You don't have to have them, in the car. They can be in your pocket. I keep mine on me. I don't want someone to break into my car and know where I live. That's just me. Are you an adventurous person? Yes, world traveler, love to do stuff. Used to love doing all sorts of physical stuff in terms of like traveling motorcycle stuff, off-road stuff. That's kind of off the table now because I hurt myself on the motorcycle. So I'm less adventurous when it comes to running and jumping, but I still love travel and all that stuff. Why don't cops fine drivers who create slow traffic? We do, but we don't fine drivers for annoying people who are choosing to speed. See, if you're speeding, you're breaking the law, and I don't care. I don't care that you're unhappy that people are going slow. If people are going so slow that they're interfering with traffic, that I do care about. You want to take a selfie?
Yes.
All right.
There you go.
Okay. We took selfies. Tag me if you post it on Instagram.
Of course I will.
Awesome. Can ambulances or fire trucks speed? Yes, under certain conditions they can. Police can do it for any reason that's lawful. Fire and ambulance can only do it when they're specifically going to go get to a patient or a fire. They have to have different criteria. Can your taillights be tinted? Why? Why would you want to tint your taillights? They may look cool, but I scratch my head every time. If someone rear ends you and you have tinted taillights, do you think we might make a note? We might say that you contributed to your collision. Additionally, there's actually regulations. You have to be discernible at 150 meters, and we decide what that is. You don't get to say, well, I can see it. it's amazing how invisible a car with tinted taillights can be. You're trying to prevent someone from hitting you. You're communicating important stuff like when you're trying to stop. Anything you do to make that less good means you're going to be more responsible for what happens. What's the green light mean? Do you mean the green light? Oh, hang on a second. I'm going to switch batteries again. Hopefully these are better. One sec. And we are back. Okay. So green light, if you're talking about flashing green light on the dash of a vehicle, that's volunteer fire. And those are magical people going to help somebody. Hey, if you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service. I talk about traffic and policing all the time. You're back. It's like you're at school and taking breaks or something.
It's like I am.
It's funny. See, I figured that out. Can I have clear taillights? As long as the light being emitted from them is red or amber, then the tail light covering can be clear, but you cannot project white light. Okay, we're approaching 12 o'clock, and 12 o'clock is the hard end because we got to go back downtown. We're finishing up what we're doing here for the day. And I am going to actually say goodbye, only because I'm seeing that there's a lot of packing up that we need to participate in. But it's been a slice. We've gone really long today. It's been a fantastic live. Thank you very much for spending FriYay with me. We're off for the weekend. We're back on Monday, and we're going to get back to like regular scheduled programming, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock, Monday to Friday, in studio, with a regular mic, without our friends here from Centennial. We'll miss them. But it's been a slice hanging out with all the students, all of the people who follow us and interact with us on a regular basis. But you know what? They can get us in studio remotely. And I'm talking about making some Centennial podcasts in the near future. For real. Awesome. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, everyone. I play the traffic song. And if you know it, sing it to yourself because I don't have my board here to be able to play it for you. You can always check it out. It's like my favorite song, recently anyway. Have a great weekend. Oh, yeah, and follow us. You should follow us.